Wherever you want. You said it again last night. She asked where to eat. You had a place. You'd been thinking about it, but something in her eyes shifted, and the answer rerouted before it hit your mouth. Your boss drops another project on your desk. You're drowning, but sure, no problem came out before you could stop it. She goes quiet on the drive home. You don't know what you did, but you're already rewriting the last hour in your head. 3 moments. Same thing every time. You disappeared. You tell yourself you're easygoing, a kind person. That's the story. But what if that story is wrong? By the end of this, I'll give you one question. One that tells you whether your kindness is real or something you learn to survive. If this resonates, hit subscribe. We go here every week. Think about the house you grew up in. Not the house, the air. You could feel it shift when a parent walked through the door. You knew before a word was said whether tonight was safe. You learned something in that house. The kid who got small got safe. The kid who had opinions got hurt. And the kid who made himself useful, kept his mouth shut, agreed when he didn't agree, smiled when he wasn't smiling. That kid got to stay. Here's what nobody talks about. That wasn't kindness. That was survival. A psychologist named Pete Walker gave it a name: the fawn response. The 4th trauma response. Your nervous system learned that the safest move was to become whatever the room needed you to be. And in men, here's what hides it. Fawning doesn't look like submission. It looks like competence. The guy who stays late, who picks up every check, who she calls reliable. He's not generous. He's running a program that got installed before he had a choice. And the program runs everywhere. At work, you stayed late 4 nights last week. The promotion went to the guy who pushed back on deadlines. He treated his time like it had a price. You treated yours like it was free. In your relationship, she picks the restaurant, the movie, the plans, and somewhere in the last year she stopped asking what you think. You tell yourself she's controlling, but she stopped asking because you never had an answer. And the resentment doesn't come out clean. It comes out sideways, a sarcastic comment over dinner, snapping at her about something that didn't matter, then being extra nice for 2 days because the guilt of having a reaction was worse than whatever she did. Have you noticed? The nicest men you know are usually the angriest underneath. Drop that in the comments. There's a reason for that anger, and it's the part nobody connects. We'll come back to it. Here's where it gets personal. You've built your entire identity around this. I'm just a kind person. I don't need much. I'd rather everyone else be comfortable. You say it like it's a choice, like you sat down one day and decided to be selfless. But go back to that house. Go back to the kid who learned to read a room before he could read a book, who figured out that if he was quiet enough, useful enough, agreeable enough, maybe the yelling wouldn't start. That kid didn't choose kindness. He chose safety. And 20 years later, you're still running his playbook. And here's where I want to speak directly to you. That kind person you've been your whole life, he's not you. He's the version of you that kept the house quiet, and you're still living inside him, long after you left that house. Robert Glover wrote a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy. Men who give endlessly, avoid conflict, and build relationships on invisible expectations. He was describing the fawn response before Walker named it. And here's the reframe. Every time you said yes when you meant no, you weren't being kind. You were cutting a deal. I'll be what you need. In exchange, don't leave. That's a covert contract, and it's why the nicest men carry the deepest resentment. Only you knew the terms. And when she doesn't hold up her end of a deal she never made, you feel betrayed. So here's the question I promised you. Next time you do something kind, ask yourself one thing. Would I still do this if no one would ever notice? If yes, that's kindness. If no, That's a deal your nervous system has been cutting since you were a kid. Knowing the difference gives you something you've never had, a real choice. Instead of a reflex, you've been calling your personality. When did you first realize your kindness might be a program instead of a choice? Drop that in the comments. Subscribe if you want more like this. We're just getting started.